everyone. So today I just wanted to do a quick video about something I've been thinking about on Dead by Daylight recently. Something that's come to light to me recently, but it's been going on for a while, and that is what is and isn't toxic. Everyone's going to have their own opinion and idea of what's toxic and what's not. But I think sometimes the lines kind of get a bit blurred. So I just wanted to kind of give my opinion, and hopefully people will give their opinions as well, because I think it's something important to talk about. It's spoken about, but usually there's an argument that ensues about it. So the first bit I wanted to talk about was, people saying, well, I don't like this character, they're toxic. I don't like that character, they're toxic. And it's a bit difficult to say. I kind of experienced that recently with two separate characters. But it made me think it's not the characters themselves, it's more the people that play them, and they think, I'll use this character because so many other people are toxic with this character, and it kind of gives them a name. So my first example was going to be Sable. I think Sable is a brilliant character. She has great cosmetics. She's quick, and she has a lot of abilities that get her out of certain situations and invocations as well. About her being toxic, you do notice a lot of people that mean Sable will be toxic for the fact that that character is often played to be toxic. But on the other side of that, I've met so many Sables in matches that are the opposite of toxic. They unhook, they take protection hits, they body block, get gens done, cleanse totems, all sorts of things. So I can't say I think this person's toxic, because it doesn't just go to Sable and that's it. For example, last night, which was the second thing I wanted to speak about, I was playing against a trapper, and it was on the Pale Rose map, and that's, I believe personally it's a very good map for trapper because of all the long grass and vaulting you have to do. And the reason it was toxic, not at the start, because at the start he kind of left everyone to start gens, and he went and he put traps about in the grass so that no one would see them, and everyone was too busy. And that in itself, I don't believe that's toxic, because that's the point of the trapper, and the point of a killer match is that you're supposed to out the survivors. So that in itself wasn't toxic. But what he would do after that, he would chase survivors and he would deliberately lead them to the traps so that they would get caught, and then he would down them and just leave them. And slugging in itself, I don't believe is toxic, because it's a strategy a lot of killers use when you say down to one gen and there's two, maybe three people left. It's easy to slug the first two and then go after the last one, because that way you're stopping any gen pressure and you're ensuring that it's a bit easy to win the game. But the reason it was toxic was because he did it pretty much at 5 gens, and I think he picked one person up to hook and just left the others to bleed out, which I think is a bit It doesn't make that much sense to me, because if you hook all four people, then you have a very good chance of succeeding, and it's over a lot quicker. So you can go to your next match, and you don't mind that you get hooked. You know, it's part of the game. That's the game that you're playing. But when you're left to bleed out on the floor when you've been slugged, it doesn't quite make that much sense, because it takes longer, and it means that you can hold in the game hostage. But that's my opinion, and I know a lot of other opinions are about as well. So yeah, they're the main two things I've seen, but I know that there's plenty of other characters people call toxic, but again, it's not necessarily the characters, it's the people that play it and how they play it. And the second one is, it kind of ties into what I just said about the trapper, what you do believe is toxic. And I believe that can be different for some people too, because people will always have their own opinions on what they find toxic and what they find okay. But yeah, my opinion, it's a bit toxic to slug everybody for no reason except to do it, and probably because you want to piss some people off. And I don't quite agree with tunneling in the sense of, right at the beginning of the game, say if there's loads of people nearby, you don't have to go after one person. Of course, it's easier because that person will be injured, but you've got more of a chance, and that makes a bit more sense to me, because when you tunnel, you kind of guaranteeing yourself you're gonna down one person. But usually it is just one person, maybe two if someone's trying to save them a lot. But if you do that, then there's more of a chance that you'll get everybody, you know, if you're efficient with it. So, that's my phone, sorry. It's a difficult one to say, because slugging and tunneling have times when they're not toxic, but they can be toxic, so it's a bit of a gamble to whatever you believe is right. But I just wanted to talk about it because, as I said before, everyone's got an opinion on it, and some people are like, oh well, tunneling's fine. In some cases it's more than fine, and you have a good match. But sometimes it's a bit of a bad move just to do it right from the beginning, because you can. And you know, you're making it harder on yourself as well. Because that was what annoyed me about when that trapper slugged everyone. It made it difficult on the survivors that were still waiting to bleed out so they could go on to the next match. But that kind of goes for the killer as well. He just has to like walk around aimlessly. You know, putting down traps gives you points, but you can't just keep doing that over and over again. And well, you can keep doing it over and over again, but it's boring, and you've kind of left it so that the match ends in one way, and that's it. So, but saying that, not every trapper's toxic. There's some trapper. I really enjoy trapper matches, even though I usually lose them because they're challenging. So, yeah, it was just something that a couple of matches has meant that I've been thinking about a lot since, I would say last night, because the trapper match happened last night, but I saw the Sable post a few days ago saying, oh, Sables are toxic, and it just made me think, I don't believe they're all toxic, and I don't believe trappers are toxic. It just means that particular player could be, and you kind of move on with your life afterwards, because that's the thing, it's just a game. You know, you could meet another person like that the next time, and you can't really do anything about it. You can report it, but where's it gonna go? So yeah, thank you for listening. Let me know what you think in the comments. And yeah, I'd really appreciate likes and subscribe, please. Bye.